Hi everyone, welcome to Out of the Box Room, where I'm joined by travel industry professionals to talk and to share experiences, both personal and professional, straight out of my box room turned into an office. Please don't forget to like, to share, and most important, to come back for more. Today's guest is Gianni Leone of TripDigest. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the box room, and thank you very much, Gianni, for joining us today. I'm sure, Gianni, with so many years in the travel travel industry, you really don't need an introduction. But for the viewers that don't know you, do you want to speak a little bit about yourself and give us a little bit of an introduction? Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning, Patrizia. I am, of course, I am Italian, and I was born in Rome. And around 30 years ago, I moved in the UK. And since my studies were related to the travel industry field, I decided to enter this very interesting industry, and starting with more than 25 years ago with a low-cost airline called Debonair. Okay, Debonair was one of the first low-cost airline. It was there in the market even before the Ryanair became, the giant that is now. And was a formidable experience in order to shape some of my main skill, because I started to work in revenue management, and I learned quite a lot also from, of course, from all the pricing side, the scheduling, and many other things. After that, I moved to KLM. I stayed with KLM for a little while, and then I joined Alitalia. That has been my company for nearly 20 years. So, it has been a very important experience. And during this journey, I was able to grow up professionally, and even career-wise, I was able to progress, quite rapidly. And at the end of my Alitalia career, I was, in charge of several markets, including the UK market.
Of course, Gianni and I know each other for a long time, because we both have worked together at Alitalia for many years. Gianni, Alitalia, for you, it's been a little bit of a launch into senior management, and I'm sure you have a lot of fond memories of Alitalia. Is there anything that you want to share with us about Alitalia, or what do you think was one of the most memorable time for you, or difficult as well?
Okay, Alitalia for 20 years has been more or less my life, also because I was living very far away from the office. So, I used to wake up every morning, before 6 o'clock, and I was spending the whole day, until very late in the evening. So, to me, it was more than just a job. And of course, being Italian, I was incredible, feeling passionate about, my job in Alitalia. You have been there with me. We went through 20 years that have been incredibly difficult for the company. The company was relaunched several times, even during our time there. And although we think that the UK office was an excellence in the Alitalia universe, even if we were able to put 100% in the energy into Alitalia. Unfortunately, Alitalia still now face the same type of problem that the company encountered in the past. The experience, anyway, was a formidable experience also because thanks to the partnership that we were having with other airlines, we were able to continuously increase our skills, continuously force to learning how to discuss things with other cultures. So, this industry is already, a kind of melting pot. And even for, a national airline like Alitalia, it was fundamentally, to change our culture in order to be more able to be proactive also with our airline partners. And of course, the experience with Alitalia was also an incredible, for me, an incredible journey on how to relate with people, because then, being in charge of several aspects of the company, I have been forced all the time to try to learn how to deal with the people that were working with me, and also to deal with myself, when I had to face some challenging situation with the top management of the airline, or some challenging situation in the office as well.
I know so well, Gianni.
I know. I have always done that with, with passion and with love. That to me are the two key elements then to succeed in any type of business. Sometimes, you have to do things that are not incredible pleasant, but I've always done everything with, the maximum honesty. So, I am actually not ashamed of anything that I've done into the company. And then, in Alitalia, we had to face, the problem of a very challenging environment, because our 20 years in Alitalia have been marked by several catastrophic events, not only related to some terrorism event, but also, with a difficult economical environment, plus, political problems, especially, for a country like Alitalia that was, a national airline. This even, political aspect have been influencing the way in which the company was able to stand on the market. And then, of course, there were lots of decisions that they were taken from the top management that have been clearly, the wrong decision. And that is, probably the reason why even today Alitalia is facing, some very serious problems.
Well, it looks like you've done it very successfully, because I know for a fact that you managed to build a very loyal distribution, and you have made many friends over and above business partners. There are two things that I want to ask you, Gianni. One is a little bit light, and the other one is not so light. One thing that I always wanted to ask you, but never dared to, when you were late for your events, have you ever crashed on the sofa in the office to be ready for the next morning? Please say the truth. Now is the moment to spill the bean.
No. But I have been to several events, and I have to tell you that I was always invited by colleagues and by travel agency, to share some extra moment of joy and happiness. But, in all honesty, I have always been able to manage well, even, the pleasure that I have always had for food and drinks. So, frankly, to wake up early in the morning has never been a major problem. No. I will say that, in 20 years of Alitalia, I never felt sick after an event. So,
So you never you never slept on the sofa in the office?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Never.
Thank you. So
I learned to use public transport, that yes, but even in the night, night public transport, but I never slept in the office, no.
Okay, thank you. The other thing I wanted to ask you, Gianni, is you spent 20 years at Alitalia and you moved to different roles. You said that you shared a lot of sad and difficult situation, and you and we all had to reinvent ourselves many times. But one thing that probably is of interest, after 20 years of Alitalia, when suddenly you were no longer at Alitalia, how did you feel? Because I actually had, when I left Alitalia after so many years, I felt almost that I was divorcing and I grieved. Please, can you share with us your experience?
Okay, yes, it's a very interesting question because, of course, through my 20 years, I had many opportunities, okay? But to me, staying with Alitalia was, a conscious decision, and that is exactly what I wanted to do. I was not attracted by money or about anything else. So, to me, it was like, it was my house, it was my place. And, but after 20 years, I went through so many difficult situations, even with the top management of the company. And, I realized that I had to move away. I had to change something. I will not deny that at one point I started to have some difficulty with some of the people in charge of the company in the office. And it completely changed the way in which I was working, I think that I was incredible, well respected even in the office. And when I left, I had a lot of people that were actually saying that, they were not 100% sure if that was the right way of progressing also in my life. But, the time was come, and then, I had to move, it was something, that actually, I really felt that I needed to do, especially the last couple of years were very difficult. I had to, in several times, to intervene in order to do some major restructuring inside the company. And at one point, Alitalia was completely taking on my life. And I had to do something completely different. And so when I left, the first thing that I did, okay, I had lots of connection in the market. And when I left, I started immediately to do some consultancy job. Okay, it was still related to the aviation industry, let's say, and to the airport environment, but it was it was to me like, a completely different way of understanding any job that you do. Deadline have never been a big problem for me because, I always thought that, being able to respect, a given time frame was, a must for any job. You have to be consistent. So, doing a consultancy work to me was, I don't know, I felt like I was on holiday a little bit, I don't know, when you do something that you like to do, and then you have got also a little bit more of extra freedom,
Yeah.
You suddenly feel in paradise, because you do what you want without the stress that that sometimes is unavoidable when you work, for a large company like Alitalia was.
But
And after that, anyway, I started to feel a little bit, let's say, homesick. I needed to go back and work for an airline. And since I was admiring, the airline, they were able to create, a product and an image of themselves that was, let's say 5-star. I saw, the possibility of starting a job with Asiana, and I applied for a role there in the company. And then, even there, it was a very interesting year, but it was not the same, the working in Alitalia. culture was incredibly different. And I will say that there was, a cultural challenge that anyway, for me, was not, a particular problem. And ASEAN as well, anyway, was facing some major financial problem. And, they were planning, to sell the company to another industrial conglomerate, in Korea. So even there, I felt a little bit like in Alitalia, even, the pressure of a business not performing like a profitable business should. And then there was, suddenly the pandemic. And China, that was our #1 market when I was in ASEAN. And then Korea itself was the first country where, where they had to face. And immediately we were able to perceive that the problem would have been a catastrophic problem. So even when Europe was not affected at all by this, we immediately realized, how complicated would have been the situation. And how complicated would have been the situation also for ASEAN, because, ASEAN was already in trouble, was in the middle of a process to find a new owner. And so the situation became, untenable even in the company. And I was one of the first person to decide to move away from the company. And
not the best time, Gianni. Not the best time to lose a job at the start of a pandemic.
Not for me, because I had already some of the people where I was doing some consultancy work before was there already for me, so I didn't have to waste too long to find something else, to be able, to survive with the same dignity that I was having before when I was working for some large company. No, sometimes with consultancy work, you can even make more money than what you... And then what happened, that while I was doing one of my consultancy assignment, someone was convinced that, that the traveling industry was having the opportunity to restart again. And they asked me if I was able to create, a kind of new business. So this guy wanted to invest in the tourism industry. At the beginning, I told him, you must be crazy, because I was already sure that the problem would have been very long. Then, at the beginning of the summer, things were starting to improve. So I told him, okay, I will try to put something to you in place very quickly. And so by the end of July, beginning of August, I was able, to start this new company that is basically a representation company for the travel and tourism industry.
Does he have a name? Do you have a name for your company?
The name of the company was TripDigest. TripDigest.
You can mention it. It's okay. That's free advertising for you, Gianni.
I thought that would have been a good name to start a new company.
Lovely
and
name.
Of course, at the beginning, since the investor gave me, the flexibility of moving progressively without any particular pressure for immediate result, I decided at the beginning to mainly focus on the type of property, because our main client are actually hotels, boutique hotel. So I was trying to focus on the type of hotels that are unable to get anyone representing them in another country. Okay. And I thought that would have been also the good moment to implement something like that, because basically having a company like mine, you have the possibility of reduce drastically your fixed cost. I give to any of my clients the possibility of revoking the contract at the end of each calendar month. So even if they do an yearly contract, if they are not happy, if they've got any problem, if they have got problem with their own business because they are forced to close down or whatever, at least for a while, I gave to them all the flexibility that they want. Also because I know that what I am able to offer to them is extremely viable from a value for money point of view. And I know that if this hotel would have asked somebody else to do the job, or they needed to have an office here in London or whatever, they have had, you know, cost much higher than the one to having someone like me, you know, working on their behalf. And basically what I do is simply the only thing that I do, I try to put in touch directly a potential client that can be from the trade or from or a final consumer with my client. So, you know, with the hotel, with the event of whatever.
Gianni, I'd no doubt you were able to reinvent yourself, and I'm also very proud that you have risen from this terrible year with creativity, and it looks like you are enjoying what you do. And yeah, I do no doubt, but there are many people that during this pandemic, especially in the travel industry, lots of our colleagues have lost their jobs and probably are now not in a safe space that you were last year in March when you lost your job. So is there any advice that you want to give to, you know, people that have lost their job, or now they really face a dark future, or they think they face a dark future?
Okay. Okay. The first thing, of course, you know, as I said before, whatever you do, you have to put love and passion. You know, without this, frankly, you know, okay, you may work, but it's completely different to do something with pleasure, with the full energy and so on. Then, of course, you have to be resilient all the time. So you have to be able, you know, to overcome all the difficult situation that will be around you. And you have to be always positive, because this is another element, you know, that is extremely important in a situation like that. There is always something, you know, at the end of any tunnel, okay? So you have to be, you know, you have to have, you know, a proactive attitude and be positive if you want to do the things that you want to do in life. Then you have got, to me, in my opinion, you have got two options. Or the option of try to take in consideration your expertise and the things that you like to do, and carry on looking for, you know, a similar job, you know, with some other company, or use the same skills in a different industry, or you start to take a little bit more care about yourself. Especially we are now, unfortunately, not so young anymore like me, although I still feel very young. I decided to create something around myself. Okay, so what I do is exactly what I want to do. Even when I select a client, if I understand that that is a person that will go on well with me, I will work for him. Otherwise, I will say that I don't feel that I'm the right person to help him with his business. You know, because I want to create something that is actually aiming at least to, you know, to joy, to happiness. You know, I cannot see anymore working just to get stressed or just to go. So, you know, I'm creating something around myself. And when you do that, especially when you start a business in such different conditions, like now, economical condition, and it is very important to let the business to move as it wants. So if initially I had the kind of vertical approach, I know exactly what I wanted to do, then at one point I decided that I should let the business to move horizontally. So, the business already now, my business is completely changed from what it was before. So in time of difficulty, you have to have also, the mental flexibility of letting the business move where there are the opportunity. Just to carry on, to bang your head on a brick wall, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
So today I have started only focusing on boutique hotel. Now I am also doing things related to events. I'm doing things related to the territory, the enogastronomic culture of the area that are of my interest. I have got a great passion for cycling. I have created a website called cyclingdigest.net, and I'm starting to focus on bike tour, bike hotels. And then, of course, as I said before, everything that I try to do today is mainly related to this idea that anyone can be a storyteller. Even, your wonderful idea is a way of telling story. So
Absolutely.
We are all a storyteller of our experience. I'm trying to be a travel storyteller, and culture, the territory, the enogastronomic world, everything is part of this incredible experience. That is, then probably traveling is one of the main joy of anyone. We travel for work, we travel for pleasure, and we travel also, to find ourselves again and again and again. And so, again, when you put your passion, then and you are able to have a vision. It can be as small as you want, but if you have a vision, you will always be able to satisfy the objective that you have given to yourself.
Yeah. Well, Gianni Leone, you've been absolutely an incredible guest, and of course, I wish you success and happiness in whatever you do in your new company. I know I am your friend, and I will always be your friend. And also, thanks very much for joining me in the box room. And well, I can't wait to see you in person rather than virtual. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much, and I will see you very soon. Ciao, Patrizia.
Thanks very much. Bye.